Today I'm making a pumpkinless spice latte. It's basically the idea of a pumpkin spice latte but without any actual pumpkin in it, because most of the flavor that you really get from a pumpkin spice latte is in the pumpkin pie spices anyway. And it's a quicker, easier version, and you don't have to open an entire can of pumpkin to get out that 1 tablespoon that you need for your latte. Though you could add just a tablespoon of pumpkin or so if you happen to have some left over in the fridge or you really want the pumpkin in your pumpkin spice latte. I'm starting just by making a basic cup of coffee here. You can use whatever method you want. I'm using the cone method, obviously. This would definitely work with a French press. I think it would also work with a drip coffee maker. Someone can comment and let me know below if you try it out. And to the ground coffee, before I make the coffee, I'm adding the spices. I'm adding half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and this is for 1 cup of coffee. I'll include amounts in my blog post for making larger batches, like a whole pot of coffee. And I've had trouble before when adding cinnamon to coffee. If you add too much, it kind of thickens and clogs up the filter, but I haven't had any trouble with the half teaspoon amount. And then 1/8 of a teaspoon of ginger, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, and a pinch of cloves, which I forgot to get out. Now I'm just going to pour the coffee through. And this allows you to get all the flavor of the spices without having that big clumpy spice residue in the bottom of your cup. Or at least not as much. There's still just a little bit of residue, but not like if you tried to stir all those spices into 1 cup of coffee. Now I'm going to transfer this to another mug because I put too much water in the cone and I need to have room for my cream in here. That is an important part of a latte. I'm adding 1 tablespoon of turbinado sugar. This doesn't make it super sweet. It's a nice balanced sweetness that I like, but if you're looking for more like a Starbucks replica, you'll probably want more sugar. And the turbinado sugar does take a little extra work to dissolve in the coffee, but because it's a hot liquid, it will dissolve. You just have to stir it for a minute more than you would have to stir white sugar. Now you add your milk or your cream. Normally I would just use milk because that's what I have on hand, but I happen to have cream in the fridge, so I'm using that. If you are using milk, I highly recommend getting a milk frother and adding frothed milk to your latte because that's just fun and amazing. And I didn't leave as much room in the cup as I normally would. I would normally aim for about 10 ounces of coffee and 2 ounces of cream or milk, but of course that's very adjustable to preference anyway. And there you have a very simple fall coffee drink with no fuss and very little extra work than just making a cup of coffee, and it tastes amazing.